Hello everybody! Isn't it wonderful to look back at your year and see how many wonderful people you met, how many wonderful things you've done, and how many great books you read? For me, I was looking in the list of books I read just to make a top favorite books of 2014, and I realized that I read enough classics to make a separate top and a separate list. And today I will be showing you top 10 favorite books of 2014 in the classics category. Oh! Here they are. They're very heavy, so I'm not even joking. They are heavy. I don't know how I was carrying some of them around to have enough space in the bag to read them. So I would show them in the order of their heaviness. So the biggest book of 2014 and the heaviest book is, let's see if you can recognize it by the picture, by the cover, Margaret Mitchell, Gone with the Wind. Actually, I didn't read this edition. I read 2 volumes, but you can see what what brick of a book it is. I loved the story, absolutely amazing. I could not leave it out of my sight. I read it in 3 days and 3 nights, I know for sure, because it was a record for me, I think. Loved everything about Scarlett O'Hara, loved everything. I did not find myself bored by descriptions, nothing. It was perfect. Go for it. It's a lovely, lovely, lovely story. Whew. Next very heavy book is Les Miserables by Victor Hugo. I read this for a very long time because the story sometimes goes into so much description that it was difficult for me to keep up and to be motivated to keep on reading. But I powered through it because there are parts of the story that are so beautiful and so lyrical that it recover my attention. So I don't regret reading it. It was a great read. If you can find an edition that has some of the chapters separated from the main text, I would say that that would be a best. That would be better than my edition. But Jesus! This book is lovely. If you have seen it in real life, you will know what I'm talking about. It looks very, 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 very nice. It's a collection book. Now, one more heavy book, because the rest are easier and they fell all over the floor. I don't have the dust jacket, but it is, where is it? Dr. Zhivago by Boris Pasternak. I read this book in January 2014. It was the first book I read for 2014, and it set the mood for the rest of the year. This is a complex book. It's very well constructed. It includes a lot of events. It just goes on and on with the political side, with the personal side, with relations, interhuman relations between human and the state. It just presents the Russian society as it was, I think, 100 years ago. So it was very, very, very interesting for me to read. And now I have the lighter books. They were all very, very interesting, and I had to pick only 10 because I read, I think, 12 or 13 classics. The next classic is Charlotte Bronte Villette. As you have already noticed thus far, I'm confusing Charlotte, Emily and Anne Bronte. So if you have seen any of my previous videos where I have confused these authors or their books, I apologize in advance. I just got confused. I thought that it's one and the same, or I thought there are only 2 sisters, but there are 3. Villette. I liked it. I loved the way the world was constructed. I loved the maturity of the characters, but still Jane Eyre is my favorite. However, this is a very complex, well-constructed book, so if you find it, give it a chance. Next, the sister, Emily Bronte, Wuthering Heights. Loved it very, very much. I went in this book thinking that I will not like it because some of the booktubers say that it's very dark, very depressing. I loved it. It was just, it impressed me so much, and dysfunctional families are my favorite to read about. So enough said. Next I have Jane Austen, Persuasion. It's a beautiful cover. I didn't read this one, but this one is lovely, very dainty. So in 2014 I read all of Jane Austen novels to see which one I loved the most. So after reading all of them, I understood that Persuasion is my favorite. It has maturity, it has a nicer writing style, and it has less of this gothic side as I saw in Northanger Abbey. I loved Persuasion. It was my favorite, better than Pride and Prejudice. But this is just my opinion. Next, Master and Margarita. Of course, I could not pass another top without including my favorite book. It's a satire of the communist world. It's mainly understood by people that had something to do with the communist world, but it's a funny read for the rest of the people. Let me get the ones that got on the floor back. So this one is The Catcher in the Rye by J.D. Salinger. This is my copy, and it was so damaged that I had to repair it. But I like this book and I reread it this year because when I was a teenager I never rebelled against anything. I was passive aggressive. I felt like I wanted to rebel, but I never did it. So reading The Catcher in the Rye was so funny for me to see that some teenagers actually do rebel. Next, Ivan Turgenev, Fathers and Sons. Another Russian classic. Loved it. It brought more to my attention than the typical traditionalism and conservatism. It brought a lot more than the usual Russian literature. I really liked it. I really liked it. Relations between fathers and sons, and of course older generation, newer generation, all those stuff. I really liked it. And number 10, but I would put it as number 1 because I loved it. 1984, George Orwell. If you have seen my latest video, I rave about this book. I did not expect it to be this interesting, and after I was in a love-hate relationship after I read it because I couldn't decide if I like it or hate it, because then I understood, because usually when we read such dystopian novels, we expect that the character survives, or the character is conquering, he reaches all his objectives, you know, like he wins. In this book it shows the reality, and I don't know if this is anti-hero. It's not defined as an anti-hero, but it's defined as a normal human being who is weak, who is just like us. So this is why I had like a hate and love relationship, because I wanted Winston Smith to just be victorious, but it didn't happen. So this is why. But the book is just amazing, good writing style. The plot was constructed in a way that I have never seen it coming. Not even the ending, I didn't see it coming. So go for it, which I'm sure most of you already read it. So this was my top 10 classics books. I hope some of you read some of them. I'm sure a lot of you read all of them. I'm pretty satisfied with the reads I had last year. I'm really happy. I hope in 2015 I'll get to read other amazing books. Bye!